Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We're going to talk about, shall we call it, an economic downturn of sorts in college football. I'll tell you what I mean in a minute. But first, the Chiefs and the Eagles played a week 2 battle in the game of the week slot, the late afternoon game, right? I wonder sometimes when these things come up as they do, what the network people are thinking about it. Because when you put that sort of game in week 1, like the Thursday night game, it's kind of cool, right? Like, I think they shut out on this, but I remember the last time that I could think of off the top of my head where the week 1 game was a rematch of the Super Bowl was the Panthers and the Broncos to start 2016, right? It's like, oh man, they just played, right? Like you get a crack and you got like a certain level of excitement about it. But the other part is when that happens, they're both 0-0, right? You put this in week 2, you get the possibility of either both teams being 1-0, or at the very least, one of those teams being 0-1. Highly unlikely that they both be 0-1, but at least one of those teams being 0-1. And we all know the damning doom and gloom statistics about what happened to teams that start seasons 0-2 in terms of them going to the playoffs or going to the Super Bowl or anything else. Now, as I recall, the goddamn Bengals have started a couple of seasons 0-2 and managed to get their way into the playoffs. And so that means anybody can do it. I don't care if they got Joe Burrow or not. They still got them ugly helmets. They are who they are. They still got the owner that used to make them reuse jock straps in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they can do it, anybody can. They out here itching like a motherfucker. Anyway, we now have 0-2 Chiefs. All right. Congratulations to the Eagles. They are 2-0. They did not look great. I don't think that they look great in either of the games that they played to start this season, but they did not look great. But they're 2-0, which means how they look becomes a much more secondary concern. Okay. The Chiefs are 0-2. And you have to understand, and maybe this is unfair of me to do this in this way, but I want to make sure that I get these numbers right. But I know these 2 games don't have anything to do with each other. There's a great separation between the 2. I don't want to be too exaggerant. But I'm just saying, for me, it is very difficult on the same day where I saw Russell Wilson throw for 450 yards to watch Patrick Mahomes throw for $187. Like, that was jarring. Ryan, we're both up here in New York City. I don't know if you got an opportunity to watch any of Russell Wilson, but apparently what they have decided for that team, or maybe just against the Cowboys, was, like it was a video game. All I do is throw bombs.
Yeah,
that's
it. Four verts. Let's chuck it to Malik and see what happens.
Every play, you know what happens? He runs by everybody, right? Like the Cowboys, good for you guys. Glad you guys got a win. But Russell Wilson, who we all thought was washed, I would start calling that Cowboys defense, if they keep doing stuff like that, the fountain of youth. Start calling them the time machine. Like, all of a sudden, people get right back at it. They're like Epsom salts. Russell Wilson got in the game and was like, wow, my knee hasn't felt this good in years.
Yeah, Nate Tice talked about how Russell Wilson always wanted to be president, and he was feeding his constituents being Malik.
He was. And by the way, he got himself into trouble because it clearly became video game time, and he's just like, I just throw it deep, except Malik wasn't going deep that time, and he threw the interception.
Yeah.
And then the game went back the other way. But watching the Chiefs, Ryan and I were texting during the game, and he made the best point. And I think I heard Tom Brady also say the same thing, or Kevin Burkhardt. I can't remember which one of them in the broadcast. But the point was, it all looks like work. Like the Chiefs, it all looks like work. That's not fun. I almost don't care about their record. I care about us, and this is not fun.
It's not fun to watch. Mahomes doesn't look like he's having a good time. He's handing it off to a geriatric running back, and you see the offenses exploding all over the league today. The Bills put up 30. Your Lions put up 50. And
yes, they did.
And Mahomes and the Chiefs, they look like they're playing a different sport, and not in a good way.
Yo, so as a visual product, something I find to be interesting about this, I'm going to ask you to ride this out with me because I'm going to get a little bit touchy-feely, a little You know those words that feel like they go somewhere in a sentence, but you don't like always know exactly what they mean? I was about to put ethereal in there, but I don't really know exactly what that means. But neither here nor there. Okay. So, me and my brother and the homie Trey over here hanging out the other day, and we watched a YouTube video of a concert of Prince in 1990. Now, over the course of the last, call it a month or so, I have watched 3 live Prince shows through streaming. All right. I promise you it's going to make sense. First one is Prince Live 1985 in Syracuse, which I think is the best live concert I've ever seen, like documented on film. I recommend that you go check it out. And that is Prince at the absolute height of his powers. That's Michael Jordan in 92, that's LeBron James in 2012. Like that is the pinnacle of that rare generational talent, right? It was never going to look like that ever again. And I noticed that especially after watching the concert from the Love Sexy tour in 1998, 1988, which is just 3 years after. And it's going, but it ain't the same, right? The homie Fink is still there playing the keys, but it ain't the same band that it was. You know what I mean? Like the vibes, he's still as good as he ever was, right? But the vibes, they're not the same, right? Then you fast forward to the concert in Tokyo, 1990, on the Nude tour. And again, we're not that far removed from absolute peak of powers. And the songs are still good. He's still capable of doing all kinds of things. But after we watched the concert from 1990, me and my brother pulled up. We were talking about the song 17 Days, hashtag IYKYK, right? And I was like, yo, I got this. There's a dope video of Prince playing 17 Days at the Forum in 2011. And so he pulled that up, right? 17 Days goes, first of all, right? That was why I pulled that up, because it's man has so much heat. He was just throwing super heat on the B-sides. But anyway, so watch this 8-minute version of 17 Days. And it's excellent. It's absolutely excellent. The band is excellent. He's playing some like dope ass funk licks on the guitar. All of it goes. But my brother stops and he looks at me and he makes the point. He's like, the thing is, he's plenty good, but the light ain't there. Like the light in 85 just shone so bright, right? But that light ain't there. And you watch in 2011, and the light ain't the same when you watch it in 1990 versus when it was bright as it had ever been in 1985, right? This is kind of the evolution for us, I would say, of the Patrick Mahomes experience. Now it's a little different with the Mahomes experience because it really took a couple years for that for the Prince shit to really get to crack like that. But Mahomes walked in the door and the light was blowing us away. It's the reason why people like me say he's the best quarterback that we've ever seen. Right? You're not going to convince me that he got worse, but you go look out there. The band, it ain't really the same band, right? In this case, where I say you still see Fink in the scrubs, you still see Travis Kelce out there in the uniform, but it ain't the same band. They don't ascend to the same highs. And subsequently, they don't push Mahomes to rise to those highs in the way that you saw it happen before, right? And so I don't think 0-2 means that the Chiefs are like somehow not going to make the playoffs. I still think they will. I know they're going to be in a very difficult division and all those things, but I think that they still going to get it cracking, right? I mean, I think they're going to get some players back. Like I think some stuff will happen. Okay. I don't think they're an excellent team, but I think they'll be okay. But in terms as this matters to most of us as fans, is that even if the Chiefs weren't your squad, unless you were in the AFC West, you had to marvel at the light, right? Like you had to marvel at what DeShaun is. Like right now, the light off of Josh Allen is crazy, right? The Lamar Jackson light still goes crazy. I don't know if they got better than Mahomes. I don't know if they would be doing much different under the same circumstances as Mahomes. but I know the light don't shine as bright. And man, that is not nearly as much fun over here, especially since I like to watch football with my buddy Nick. Now, I didn't watch this game with him. I don't even know if he was over there, right? But if they don't get this light going or get something figured out, man, that's going to interfere with my whole experience. It ain't pleasant when that happens. You feel me? You see what I'm saying? But that's what stuck. Like when Ryan said it all looked like work and felt like work, I was like, damn, yeah, I think that is the characterization. And I think that's what we get here. And by the way, the Eagles, it doesn't quite look the same. Their offense did not look great. That Chiefs defense that did not look good against San Diego, they were looking pretty damn good against the Eagles because the Eagles is a little bit different over there too. But they seem to be in that we just going to find a way to win space. And that is what happens when any short yardage comes up and you know you got it. I just can't imagine how dispirited it is when they decide to run the booty push. Like I just can't. Like, what are we supposed to do? I have no idea. I do have this question, Ryan. I was curious if anybody else had thought this thing I'm going to say, even though it's unlikely anybody else did. Okay, so you know how I started off looking for a team, and then I found the Lions, and I liked what the Lions were doing, and then I watched them more and more, and then I didn't fully realize that I had truly become a fan because when they went to the NFC Championship game, I was just happy they got there. It didn't really hit me that the space that I had gotten into till goddamn J-Mo threw that ball away. Remember that?
Yeah.
The dude that got caught gambling at the team facility when Big Brain Ben put the ball in his hand and let him make an important decision at an important time. Is my fist balled up? Okay. Me let that go, right? But it was in that moment that I realized, damn, I'm really in on this, right? So the Chiefs got all these new fans, Swifties, right? They came in because they Swifties, right? They rooting for the Chiefs because they rooting for Travis because it goes back to their queen. It all goes together, right? But I imagine the farther and farther along that this has gone, some of them truly got into the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Like some of them truly became fans and they really want the Chiefs to win and they're really invested. You think any of them started cussing at Travis Kelce when they saw him on the TV?
Wait, when he dropped the go-ahead touchdown?
Hell yeah, when he dropped that go-ahead pass. Like, look, that's the thing about the Chiefs in this game. If you really want to give them the benefit of the doubt, this really turns on just a couple of things, right?
Right.
Like Kelce does not drop that pass. They're probably, or let's just say, forget about doesn't drop. Let's give him a catch, right? Because it's part of it if he doesn't, how about he drops it and it doesn't get intercepted? But,
Right.
But if he catches that pass, they score that touchdown there, and it's probably nip and tuck all the way there, right? They went from probably going up 4 to then going down, 10 when the ball got back the other way,
Yeah.
right? Somebody had to be furious with Travis Kelce at that point, right? Like, yeah. They not Travis Kelce fans. They Taylor Swift fans, and they became Chiefs fans because of Taylor Swift. But then that still means he got to do his part. You think they want her to be with a man that can't catch? You know what I'm saying? Like the day might come that she fall out of burning building or something like that. They're going to need to know that he got hands. They're not happy with that. Somewhere there's a message board on the dark web or something like that where the real Swifties are like, hey man, that motherfucker look old. There's somebody there that's feeling that way because Ryan, he look old.
I mean, we forget he's 35, 36, and he looks like it out there. I mean, he doesn't run the way he used to. And, when you start dropping balls at the goal line, obviously, you're not causing an interception, but he is not making the plays that he needs to make. And as long as they're down their top 2 receivers, that offense is going to keep looking like work.
Right. So the thing is, it's asking too much for him to be like dynamic.
Right.
But you do need him to be steady in the face of what everything else is. Like, I mean, their best running threat in this game, without question, was Patrick Mahomes, who, by the way, I will note, I agreed with the argument that him faking like he going out of bounds and him hitting them cats with them shoulders was dirty pool. But I don't know. He hit that swole ass dude for the 49ers. What's his name? Mustafa? he gave him that shoulder last year, and apparently this is like his new thing. He gave somebody a shoulder in this game too. Where I'm like, damn, dog, you don't even look like you lift weights. But here you are.
You think he's trying to compensate for the dad bod?
Man, all I'm saying is this. It ain't, in that case, it ain't dad bod, it's dad strength. You know, like I'm not saying he don't lift weights. I just have no reason to believe it. Like it looked like he lift weights with Paul Pierce and Jokic. Right? I'm not saying that they don't. I just don't, like I always said, Jokic looked like he went to the trainer with that picture of Tom Brady at the combine. It was like,
like one of these, yeah.
Like this is
my dream body.
Body goals right here. This is where they are. But all right, so if the Chiefs, let's say the Chiefs are at this point, the Chiefs are 0-2. All right. Let's say that they come out of this weekend, because I think we got the Chargers playing against the Texans on Monday night. Chargers
Raiders.
Chargers Raiders. Okay. Oh, the Texans. Oh, and the Texans. It's a Monday night doubleheader in the second week of the year. I thought that when they didn't do the doubleheader on week one, I was like, oh, cool, somebody finally got wise. Apparently, I was wrong. I'll let you think I'm staying up to watch the Raiders and the Chargers. Must be high. This is preposterous. They think we can do anything, and I'm just talking about me, and they're going to come back up. Highest overnight rating ever.
Yeah. I mean, someone will watch. It might not be us on the East Coast.
Yeah. But, right, let me ask you this, right? 5 catches for 27 yards for A.J. Brown. How much longer do you think that this is going to be sustainable?
After he got one target last week, if there's one thing I know about outspoken wide receivers, it's that they do not suddenly become less outspoken as they get older.
They threw for 101 yards in this game. Like that, it can't be that.
No.
It cannot be that. Like, again, a Chiefs team whose defense we have questions about coming off of week one. And I guess we'll see what it is for the rest of the year. But I think the Eagles were this close to us having all this talk that I'm doing about the Chiefs about them.
Right.
Right. It was just there. But yeah, no. It ain't going to be so long that A.J. Brown going to be going for that. Devontae Smith, 4 for 53 in this one. No. I'm just telling you right now, they're going to need to tighten some things up for them. But at least they ain't going to have no angry Swifties going at them. All right, another NFL story that is interesting to watch is that boy Mike McDaniel, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, he needs to watch out. And here's why he needs to watch out. NFL teams typically like to wait until a bye week before they fire their coaches. All right. The Dolphins don't have a bye week until week 12. Week 12. Okay. That means there's a chance that they can fire Mike McDaniels at any given time. Ryan, do we have this sound of Tua try to explain how it is that his wide receivers need to stop running so fast?
We do not, but he is. The team seems to be in almost open revolt. I mean, you had Tyreek on Friday going at a reporter for, asking him about why he hasn't had, more than a 30-yard catch in over a year.
Yes.
Him and Tua seem to genuinely hate each other. Mike McDaniel looks miserable on the sidelines in a loss to the Patriots, and it looks like he can go sideways at any time.
All right, so look, Tyreek Hill is not as fast as he used to be, right? But his quarterback stood at the podium after the game and basically said that he tells Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, you know damn well I can't throw the ball that far. So y'all out here running 80 yards down the field, you know I can't get that to you. Ho, 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 big dogs. Deontay Lee said, you don't need to be this honest in front of people. But if your whole game is being fast and running far and catching the ball and you got a quarterback who can't do it, although, didn't Tyreek Hill say that Tua threw a better ball than Patrick Mahomes? Didn't he do that?
Yeah.
I bet they missed the hell out of each other, boy. They like that commercial that turn around every now and then. You know that commercial right there? I bet you they be thinking that about themselves. But anyway, I bring this up about Mike McDaniel. I think he can get fired at any time. Because if I'm learning anything from college football, you really can get fired at any time. Like, look, college football coaches have gotten fired early in seasons, but it normally takes a lot. For example, the time that Arkansas lost their first game of the season at home to the Citadel in 1992, and they fired the coach the same night, right? The same night. You also have like the example of when people was getting crooned. Ryan, I think you probably too young to remember when people was out here getting crooned.
I remember that one. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mississippi State.
Sylvester.
Yes, Mississippi State hired Sylvester Croom, the first black head coach in the history of the Southeastern Conference, and teams seem to have this incredible coincidence of losing to Mississippi State and then suddenly firing their coaches.
Yeah.
The first one of note was Ron Zook, and Jeremy Foley, the AD of Florida, gave the all-time classic line, "That which will be done eventually must be done immediately." And he was right. But Zook, for whatever it's worth, stuck around the rest of the year. They hired Urban Meyer. They won a couple of national championships, all this stuff. Hey, man, Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion, which is an absolutely indefensible loss. They fired their coach 3 weeks into the season. UCLA is not just that they lost to New Mexico. They lost to New Mexico, and it looked like 15 people were at the game. All right. And so DeShaun Foster's the head coach. He just got fired, and it was never going to go too well for him in the first place because Chip Kelly moved on from that job in like February of that year because he realized it was time to get out ahead of the cavalry, and I think he just decided he didn't want to be a head coach anymore. He just wanted to call plays.
He left to be like, I don't remember if I've ever seen a head coach leave of their own volition to be an OC.
Yes. It was like,
that's how miserable he was there.
He didn't want to do that. So then you get the job late. UCLA as a program doesn't have any money, which certainly tells me that in terms of getting players, they don't have any money. But they didn't just lose to New Mexico. They got their asses kicked by New Mexico, right? Like that's a job. That's a loss that gets you fired. And Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion. That's right. It was Dabo that lost to Georgia Tech. My bad. I almost got it mixed up. But anyway, they getting them out of here faster than ever, right? Now, one thing about it is you get your coach out of there, the transfer portal, if I'm not mistaken, opens up for 30 days immediately after that. So teams are going to try to stretch it out as long as they can. But one of the fascinating things about college football to me is that what is different for every single team. What is tolerable, what is intolerable, all of these things. None of it is the same from school to school, right? Caleb DeBoer, good job. Alabama beat the brakes off of Wisconsin this week. Doesn't matter, buddy. You might as well have done that to Jacksonville State. They got a different standard over there, right? Billy Napier right now is lucky, coach at Florida, where he's under 500 going into year 4 of this job. And that's not a job where you get to have a losing record and typically, or have a record like he does and typically get this far. For me, Charlie Strong is the great example of that, where I thought he was handed that job in really bad time. Like he got handed a bare cupboard, but no excuses are ever going to allow you to have 2 straight losing seasons at the University of Texas. It's not happening. You're going to get fired, period.
Yeah, speaking of Florida, they still have to play Georgia, Texas, Miami, and Florida State.
Yeah. It's
for Napier. It's not if, but it's when.
Right. It's not going to get better. But think about this, right? When I talk about like how quirky it can be about keeping your job or losing your job. They lost that game to South Florida, right? After South Florida started the season beating Boise State, they lost a close one to South Florida, okay? South Florida was ranked number 18 going into last week's game and then played Miami and got their doors blown off. If South Florida had lost to Miami and then lost to Florida, I think Billy Napier gets fired. Instead, Billy Napier simply took Florida to Death Valley at LSU and lost by 10 points in a game where their quarterback threw 5 interceptions. And that is a survivable loss, right? It's still LSU, right? People still think very, very highly of them. that remained a survivable loss. And so he could wind up keeping his job. I am still, though, just simply blown away that the stakes of college football have gotten so high that Virginia Tech can't just ride this out a little bit long. Like, with all due respect, who do y'all think y'all are? I just, I understand that Virginia Tech has had a great deal of success a long time ago. Right. Okay. They might as well be Army at this point. Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a long time ago, but that's what this has become. UCLA, look, you wind up in this situation, especially when people stop showing up to the games, especially at a school that needs the money. When people stop showing up to the games, you got to do that if you're UCLA. I just don't see what this is actually going to help at this point. Like, do you think now that they fired the coach, all of a sudden these boys that could not beat New Mexico, you think all of a sudden they're gonna become a Big Ten capable school? Because they might not win a game. I'll run the rest of this schedule by you. They got a game this week at Northwestern. After that, home for Penn State, at Michigan State, home for Maryland, at Indiana, home for Nebraska, at Ohio State, home for Washington, at USC. They might not win another game. And I could be wrong, but I feel like if all you're going to do is lose all your games, you might as well keep the same loser that you started with. Right? Like, it also gets to the next question. Ryan, you tell me if I'm tripping here. But I'm sure that man got a buyout in his contract. If y'all ain't got no money, can y'all just be throwing it around willy-nilly?
I don't know how you win in a major conference at UCLA. I don't know. The interesting thing about college football, like you said, is every school is a different standard and every school has to figure out who you want to be. How is UCLA ever going to compete with Oregon and Ohio State and Michigan and and Nebraska?
You didn't even say USC.
And I didn't even get to USC across the street.
Like, my thing is, they are going to regret this decision to go to the Big Ten so much. And I understand. I guess they're not going to regret it because it was the only option, right? Like, this was the decision that was required for survival. And as a university, like on an academic level, being part of the Big Ten, that's the conference that means something in terms of academic reputation, right? I get that all the way. But you're just not going to tell me that this is going to be any fun for them. Like, everything that's changing in college sports, it's making it all less fun. It's making it a lot more serious. It's making it a lot more professional. Now, I want to be very clear about this. I have always been a proponent of paying the players. I am glad that they are finally getting money that is in line with the market wage that they swore to us for decades that nobody would ever pay, that the market would never bear out, and that they weren't actually worth any money. And we have obviously seen that they are worth this money. But
it would run off all the fans who somehow would stop watching on television.
Correct. Right. Every argument they gave is none of them hold. The part that we didn't say loud enough, and I can say I did say this in spite of what my belief is that they should get paid. Right. This is not fun. This isn't going to be what we've wanted it to be, right? We don't know who plays for anybody anymore. The stakes for the coaches are so high that you're firing coaches and firing them in week 3 and all of this. This conference realignment has gone in such a way that the conferences barely make any sense. So you don't get any really true sense of rivalry because you don't play enough games against teams that matter to you or that your friends went to or stuff like that. Like, all of this is thrown off in a way that is not comfortable for me. But I do wonder this. What's it going to be if schools like these make these decisions at these rates? And as I say all of this and how it's all gotten so serious for everybody else, I admit the more that I talk, I've basically talked myself into calling for Billy Napier's job this week. I'm not saying that look, he's going to get paid. One thing I need to be very clear about, everybody's like, nah, you don't need to call for people's jobs, Let me tell you something, man. Every time I got fired from a job, the check stopped. That ain't the case with these jokers. You know what I'm saying?
Big boy jobs have big boy responsibilities.
Yeah, look, man, the problem with losing your job is not losing your job, it's losing your check. If you still got a check, I don't really understand what we out here. Well, your kids have to go through this. Don't tell him then. You ever think about that? Little kid, 3 years old. Like, well, he's 7 years old. The kids at school are saying that his daddy got fired. Tell him daddy's still getting paid. Daddy gonna pull up to school in a Rolls Royce. Ask him if they daddies got Rolls Royces working 60 hours a week. Hell no, I bet they don't. You know what I'm saying? But this is what it is going to be. And Mike McDaniel, you better hope that Stephen Ross is not paying attention to what is going on in college sports, because he might mess around and get a bright idea. Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins. With DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. Here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code BOMANI. That's code BOMANI. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
What if a quarterback completed 4 out of 5 of his passes? Or a point guard hit 4 out of 5 behind the arc? Well, now, when you're hiring, you can play at that level, because 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. From healthcare to hospitality, to business services, manufacturing, and more, ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And today, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter doesn't wait for the right candidates to find you. ZipRecruiter scouts top talent for you. First, when you post your job, ZipRecruiter hustles to start showing it to the most qualified people. Then, ZipRecruiter races to build a roster of great candidates for your job, and you can invite your top picks to apply, to encourage them to apply sooner. See for yourself. Go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
All right, let's get to some stories from around the weekend. Terence Crawford defeated Canelo Alvarez for a historic undisputed crown. You won on a unanimous decision. He became 42-0 and became the first male boxer in the 4-belt era to be undisputed champ in 3 weight classes. Bo, were you surprised by the result?
I don't know if I was surprised by the result. Yes, I was, because I felt like going up that high in weight class, like going up that high in weight as Crawford did, was a daunting task for him to perform. But it was like a clear victory on top of that. I don't think anybody could have fairly come away from that thinking that when it went to the cards that Canelo had any chance once it got that far. I want to ask this question, and I'm going to ask it on behalf of, I feel like, all of us. All right. I don't even think that we can split this up into different demographics of life. I think this is an across the board feeling. What took so long? And when I say what took so long, this is what I mean. I know why I fell asleep on my couch, but I don't remember what time I fell asleep on my couch. But I remember I woke up on my couch and it was somewhere around 11:30, maybe close to 12. And I look up and I see some dude wearing garb patterned after the Mexican flag, and he was coming to the ring, but he wasn't no Canelo Alvarez. And then after he gets to the ring, it's some dude from Ireland who gets in the ring. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's about to be midnight. I was afraid that I had slept through the fight. It's about to be midnight, and it's the fight before the fight. That fight did not start until 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. It cannot. Who voted for this?
If they want to fix boxing, there's many things they can do, and it seems like there are clearly resources between the Saudis and Dana White trying to fix it. The first thing they can do is start these fights at a reasonable hour.
Yeah, not that late. Look, I'm willing to go like 11, even 12. Like, I get it. You're having the fight on the West Coast. Like, oh my God, I could not believe that fight took so long. I will also say it did feel a bit dystopian seeing Dana White and that Saudi man sitting there front row watching. Like, it was a lot going on that was like, ugh, like under the heading of, I'm not sure this is making things better. But let me tell you this. One of the homies was down there in Vegas for that fight. And he said it was as dead a fight weekend as there had ever been. And this is the Mexican Independence Day weekend fight that has been as sure a shot for the boxing industry and for Las Vegas as anything has ever been. And he said that Vegas felt dead. I am saying all that to say that sound like a session is coming.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of stories about, the recent decline of Vegas and people, with the rise of gambling and the amount of private equity that's trying to squeeze every dollar of every Vegas tourist, that people have become less and less interested in. And it's interesting that as Vegas is trying to become a big event town, that those things seem to be in conflict.
So I would say, and this is my thought, I think that this speaks, part of it is price stuff, but I think it just speaks to an overall like economy level thing. Like when and also foreign tourism, right? Like, you afraid the ICE gonna come sweeping these streets. That is a consideration. But like the Zoomers were making the argument that they were the ones that was causing the drop off in Vegas because they don't like it because it's inauthentic and and all of this stuff. But if you never went, you aren't the reason for the fall off, right? I would think that a special event, but a regular special event, right? Like a fight is different than Labor Day or
Right.
just a holiday weekend. I would think that
Because the Super Bowl a couple years ago didn't feel dead.
oh no, it wasn't dead at all. It
Yeah.
was not dead at all. But I would have thought that a fight like this, it would have cracked no matter what. And it's not. And like I say, we are getting lots of harbingers for this economy, including the one that said that the economy in like the last year actually created 1 million less jobs or something like that than advertised. Yee, yee, yee.
All right, let's get to college football. We talked about this earlier, but LSU beat Florida 20-10, forcing 5 interceptions. However, Brian Kelly was not happy after the result. Let's take a listen.
I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida?
People don't like Brian Kelly.
As an LSU fan, I underestimated how much people did not like Brian Kelly until he got there. And it is worse 4 years in than it was in terms of the people not liking him.
I knew it off the rip because I just paid a lot of attention to the Notre Dame situation. And again, one of the wildest things ever, he didn't bring a single assistant with him from Notre Dame to LSU. Like that
never happens.
Yeah, however that happens, that is crazy. However, I think that everything that involves Brian Kelly doing something we don't like is obviously colored by the fact that people don't like him in the first place. But in this case, asking the third down questions with the first question at the press conference, if your goal was to get a thoughtful answer, was bad strategy. One could even argue it was bad form. But if you were trying to get Brian Kelly to engage you and give you something illuminating about those struggles, that was not the time to do it. The reporter also sent a tweet after that said, maybe I shouldn't have asked out the gate, but it had to be asked or whatever, which is absolutely you reporter centering yourself in this story here, which is the kind of thing that makes people standing at microphones talk crazy to you, right? Like I just there are fair questions to be asked
Especially
about
for someone like Brian Kelly, who's known to say crazy things at these post game references.
This is correct, right? I think it is a fair question to say that a team that won at home by 10 points against a team that looks bad and threw 5 interceptions, maybe you should have won by more than 10 points, right? Like this is it. And also the new penny shine is off of that Clemson win now that Clemson has lost to Georgia Tech. Okay. I get all of those things, but I also acknowledge there was a better way to go about doing that in that moment. But nobody is going to weep for Brian Kelly.
All right, Bo, let's have a little bit more fun. Clipse and Pharrell played a free show at the Vatican, star-studded lineup of artists, including Jennifer Hudson, Bam Bam, Joey Roll, and John Legend. Bo, what were your thoughts when you saw this news?
I had 2 thoughts on this. Number one, you can't even go to the Europe, the Holy Land of Europe, without goddamn Jelly Roll being there. Jelly Roll is everywhere. I can't
culturally ubiquitous in a way that I thought would never be possible.
Yes, and I've never heard a Jelly Roll song. I have seen the Jelly Roll songs I have heard are not this incarnation of Jelly Roll, right? It's like the more like hip hop-ish. Although I don't even know what Jelly Roll does right now. I just seen Jelly Roll tell everybody that Jesus love them, and after that, Jelly Roll is everywhere. Jelly Roll everywhere. Like I remember once I was at the it's All-Star game in New Orleans in 2014. And I did Dan Levitar's radio show. After I'd done that, I come back and I was saying something. I was like, so I went to this event and I said who the sponsor of the event was. And I said to Mike Ryan, I said, and guess who was at the party? He was like, I don't know. I was like, who's everywhere? And he goes, Kevin Hart. I was like, Kevin Hart was at the party. That was exactly who it was because in 2014, Kevin Hart was everywhere. That's how Jelly Roll feel right now. All that being said, I just can't. Booking Clipse at the Vatican. I struggle with this. What is the set list? What songs are they going to? Who vetted this?
I know the new Pope is from Chicago, but is this the kind of music he listens to?
Yo, who clears this? Like, I'm assuming they're going to have to play edited mixes? Like,
who is this for?
That is a great question because the bill is all over the place. Run through again. Who gonna be there?
It was Pharrell, Jennifer Hudson, Jelly Roll, Clipse, and Teddy Swims.
Teddy Swims. I saw him on the New Year's TV show one time. I know nothing about him.
I know nothing about him either. I think Post Malone. Did Post Malone say no, or was Post Malone? Talk about someone who's also seems to be everywhere.
Yo, Post Malone. I think I've talked about this on this show. I want to know what the moment is that you get you a white rapper, and then finally somebody hands him that acoustic guitar, and it's like, why don't you start being serious about your life, huh? Right? Like it's time for you to what the Bible say. It's time for you to put away childish things. Come over here. Come over here, son.
Come over here and let's start playing some ballads.
Yeah, pull your fucking pants up and let's go get this money.
Sports Illustrated model Brooks Nader seemed to be having a great time at the U.S. Open. She was dating both Alcaraz and Sinner, according to Page 6. They obviously faced off in the U.S. Open file and were apparently dating the same woman.
Okay. I am very curious as to whether or not they knew they were dating the same woman, right? I don't have the answer. That part would be interesting, but I am also, I feel like, I wonder how much she knows about Don King. Okay, so this is what I mean. Don King had a rule about doing fights. Always leave in the limo with the champ. Maybe that was her play, right? Maybe that was her game. Is
Look,
it possible?
you can't not leave with the champ if you're dating both of them.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She always leaves. She like a fight promoter, right? Like she taking care of both sides. It's like real estate to her. I wonder, like, did they both leave her tickets at the window? Right? Or did she at least have the decency to be like, nah, I'm gonna be busy that weekend. I can't just be in here. Can you imagine if you looked up into your box and you thought she was gonna be there? And you're like, I wonder what that's about. And then you happen to look over into the other box, and that's where she's at. And then you win, and she leave the other box and come try to get next to you. And you know damn well you gonna go for it. Wow. Props to her. Props to her. We need to get a TV show with her and Jordan Hudson and find out who else out here. Like she out here, she Coyle Ray, and girls are players too. She got all the game.
All right, we've opened up the voicemail line. People hitting us up with all sorts of things. Great responses as always. Here's our first one.
Hey, Bomani, this is Jimmy from Chicago. I just want to say thank you, bro. I've been following you for a long time. I just want to say thank you. I cut hair in Chicago, and one of the talks in my barber shop, one of the debates, is Scottie Pippen overrated? And I just want to say thank you because it seems like you're the only person that sees the eye to eye. I don't know why people have this misconception that this dude is clutch. That I had a guy bet me that Scottie averaged 20 points for his career. Easiest money I ever made. Oh, let me take that back. I had a dude bet me that Scottie scored more points for his career than Dominique Wilkins. I can't make this shit up on mine. I just want to say thank you. I don't know where these people changed the narrative on Scottie Pippen. As a defender, all-time great. But overall player, come on, man. This dude was a choke artist, supreme. Anytime they needed a big presence from him, 9 times out of 10, cheeks, basically. Scottie Pippen is the reason to this day that I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan because of Game 7 against the Pistons in the migraine. After that game, I stopped rooting for the Bulls and started rooting for the Spurs. Like I said, I just want to say thank you, Bomani. I know the people at home, when they hear it, they know exactly who this is. And I don't like no Chicago teams. And I'm from Chicago, born and raised. Take care. Later.
Yeah, I do have to say, though, right, ditching the Bulls in 1990 to pick up the Spurs, like, it just needed to wait
Yeah,
one
just had to
more
wait.
year.
Yeah.
Just the bus was right down there. It was coming for you. It was
Talk
coming.
about, selling your Apple stock.
Yeah. But no, man, that Scotty thing, man, it is only people think Scotty is overrated or underrated. There's no room in between on that. It's the only two spaces that you have: Scotty overrated or Scotty underrated. That is it. That is. In barbershop, I think I told you, man, when I moved to Miami, that's when I cut my hair off because I was like, man, I can't get involved in no new barbershop conversations.
Yeah,
No, sir, Reed Bob.
Yeah, you can only hear so many. Your brain only has space for so many takes.
Yeah, I tapped out. I was like, especially now that I'm a quote unquote somebody. Nah, man, I had to tap out on that entirely.
All right, here's one of our listeners from international waters.
Hi, Mr. Bomani Jones. How are you doing, sir? It's Emmanuel calling from London. Big fan of the podcast for many years. I find your talks with Spencer Hall particularly insightful as someone from abroad who doesn't really understand or doesn't have that in-depth knowledge of American culture. Just a real eye-opener to how things go on. So my question was, I often hear you refer to someone being an Atlanta dude. I think it was Anthony Edwards, you described him that way, or your conversation with El Duncan. I think you mentioned something being so Atlanta. I'm just curious, what exactly is meant by that? My only real understanding of it was once where I was at a school trip with some kids from abroad, and there was this one guy or one kid from Atlanta who we couldn't be no older than like 9, maybe 10. He had the gumption to go up to a grown-ass woman and essentially speak to her when most of us are too scared to speak to girls our own age. So I think I've got an early understanding of it, but I just really like your description of what's meant by an Atlanta dude or something being so Atlanta in a bit more detail. But genuinely and truly, I just want to say thank you for all the hard work you do and the pod being so great.
First of all, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. And wow, I am trying to think of the ways to explain this in terms that somebody from London would fully understand. Okay, so the thing about Atlanta is, at least at this point in America, there is no city that at its median is now more culturally black than Atlanta is, right? Like nothing else. I can't. So that is a part of it, right? And then it comes to the question, well, what does it mean to be culturally black? Look, man, I ain't got words for everything, right? But specifically with Anthony Edwards, it is the specific accent with which he speaks. It is his diction, like the specific words that he chooses at various points. It is a certain air of, I always say the thing about Atlanta dudes like him is that you can tell that there's an air of an awareness of like a larger world, even if there's not quite a familiarity with it. But with him, it is the outright confidence that I never have to edit this. I never have to change this. Because that's one thing about it. If you really an Atlanta dude and you always around it, you don't really have to change how you kick it very much, right? There's an understanding that there's just a bunch of y'all who kick it like this. Anthony Edwards has taken that with him to Minnesota. But if I took you to Atlanta and let you hang out for a day and a half, you would understand what I was talking about. Putting it into words, more difficult than I realized it would be until you asked.
I would recommend, if you want to understand what it means to be so Atlanta, I would say go listen to clips from Cam Newton's podcast.
That helps. That's a start.
That's a start. If I was putting together a syllabus, that would be that's where I would start. All right, Bo, here's our last one.
Hey, Bomani, my question is, have you ever had a homie who didn't have good hygiene or his homegirl didn't have good hygiene? I remember one of my homies' girl, before they was even dating, he knew that she had bad hygiene. And then they got together. My first question was like, hey, has her hygiene changed? And he was like, yeah, she good. And then she came over to the house one time and she smelled terrible. And I tried to tell my homie, like, hey, bro, you need to tell your girl about her hygiene. And he said, ain't nothing wrong with it. So this man was in denial. Has it ever happened to you? It's Corday from the Bay.
All right. So I used to have a homie that was a little bit musty. And one time, me and my best friend went to kick it with this other homie. And we was about to roll out. And he was like, yo, I was going to take a shower, but I ain't musty, so we cool. And then he walked out, and then my best friend, and anybody who knows Will knows exactly how he sounded. He was like, bruh, I don't know what your boy is talking about because he is rank. And he was rank. The thing is, brother, that was when I was like 15 or 16. I ain't kicking it with nobody musty in a musty. No. Unfortunately, brother, I don't have any advice for you other than evaluate things. Lots of them. All of them. Yuck. Hey, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this here 3 times a week, sometimes a little bit more. Ryan Brumley handling everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Also, hit our voicemail line, 323-596-7767. It is always open for your questions, your comments, your stories, your takes, whatever it is. 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater, and we'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.